Oh. Yeah, I don't have, well, I let my tires like.
I like the idea.
But I do tires too. So I have that, and then I'm in pharmacy.
My day.
You're in pharmacy school? Yeah. I did with that one, with everything, and then I have two business too.
I actually have a coaching client right now who's in medical school. She's paying for her medical school on real estate, she's brand new agent. She's killing it. To get this. So I started with her about a year ago. And about 6 months in, she goes, I got accepted to a medical school in Georgia. I'm like, that's yay. She goes, no, Georgia in Europe. Oh, I'm like, what? She's from Texas. So she's literally doing deals from Europe. People pay for her medical. I'm like, all right, let's make this happen. We got her doing new builds. She's got an assistant here. So there's always workaround. You know, I mean, if she can do it from Europe, you know, she's on a 12-hour time difference. You know, I'm texting her at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So, but it's all good.
One thing that like.
Yay, it worked. I called Danny this morning, I'm like, did you get my car? Oh, no.
Wow. Check this section.
The red shirt, the black. All right, Oscar, you want to reel them in? Let's get started. Sandy, do I have to be in the camera? Can I sit?
You can sit,
I'm
yeah.
gonna sit, I'm gonna walk and.
Yeah, yeah, it'll follow you.
Like my read camera. Where's Joe? You got Ella, you got Kelly.
Joe's in DC. Okay, we ready? Yeah. Hey, Joe, she said.
I didn't find Joe.
No, is he not hibernating in his office? So,
I don't know when he wasn't there.
okay. All right, Steve Kelly. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started, everybody. I know there's a couple of new faces here. So for those that don't know me, my name is Tammy Burnell, and I am the productivity coach here. And I have been doing this for, dating myself, 30 years. And also have been a real estate coach for the last 15. Was Tom Ferry's #1 coach for about 5 years. And that's into the business. I have created the top 10 ways to get now business, because I mean, who doesn't need now business right now, right? And I also really like this too, because we basically have until July until everything will, you know, change for us. So I don't want you guys to get real caught up. I know we're talking a lot about it, and you know, the changes are, you know, uncomfortable, and it creates a lot of anxiety. But right now, the deals that you do here in the next 30, 60, 90 days are going to be the same as they have been. So let's go ahead and focus on that. Sound good? Yeah, everybody awake? Nobody in food coma? Thank you for the pizza, Mr. Oscar. I appreciate that. All right, so who here has 4 sources of lead generation that they use right now in their business? 4 sources of lead generation. Anybody? Okay. I'm going to give you 10 today. So everybody have a paper and pen. I do not have a handout because I want to make sure that you're writing notes. Please ask me any questions or concerns. You can, interrupt me and say, can you repeat that again? Or I don't understand that. So my first one, I don't know how you do. Okay, perfect. Is my open house strategy. And a while back, we had sent out this script. I'm going to go over it with you. And then Sandy, just make a note to send that out again, the open house script. If you don't have it, email it to me and I will get it out to you. So how many of you have sat open house? By a show of hands. And then how many of you think open houses are a waste of time? And be honest. Yeah, right? Because what happens? You sit at open house typically on a Saturday or Sunday, right? You sit from 1 to 4. And when does everybody come? At 4. At 4, right? It's like the weirdest thing. And so you sit there this whole time and then you have 3 or 4 potential clients come in, right? This is what happens. And then the first one that you get in, you start having a conversation with. And they just happen to be who? The neighbor, right? Always the neighbor. And it just also happens to be, it's the neighbor who has the sick dog and you're empathetic, you're being nice. So talking to them. And here comes another client. And here comes another potential client and another one. And you just wasted your whole time talking and being polite to the neighbor's sick dog. So this happened to me about 20 years ago. And I was doing open houses because in my belief, this is the fastest way to a buyer. And the fastest way to a check is through a buyer. So you want to pay attention to this because I have solved this problem. So can I have a volunteer? Anybody? Come on, he goes open house.
I love
Everybody here. Yeah, we have a new person stepping out to the plate. Okay, so you are going to be my customer for open house, okay? All right, so you come on in and I say, hi, I'm Tammy with KW Westside.
I'm Cameo,
Hi, nice to meet you. How can I help you today?
looking to buy a house.
Oh, she's, okay. Okay, I want you to, and I'm gonna stop. What did I say to her?
How can I help you?
How can I help you? Right. Now, doesn't that seem a little odd? Yes. Right? Because what do most agents do? Oh, Cameo, nice to meet you. You know what? Can you come in and sign this, and make sure you give me accurate information, right? Which they never do, right? You have no idea if they're working with a realtor or not. Okay, so you're looking to buy a house. I want you to be a little harder on me. So let's just say you're a mom and you live on the west side, but your kids are playing soccer on the east side. You're driving back and forth, right? Okay, so that's her deal. She's a mom and she's driving back and forth. So go ahead. So how can I help you today?
I'm a mom driving back and forth, live on the west side, so I'm over
Yeah.
here. So
Yeah, how come you're over here?
my kids play soccer down the
Oh,
street.
nice. How old are your kids?
11 and 12.
Oh, that's fine. Boy or girl? Boy. Oh, yikes.
Yeah.
I hear you. Well, listen, are you, who's your realtor?
Oh, right now I don't have one.
Okay, perfect. Notice what I said there. Almost caught myself. Who? Who is your realtor? Right? So you want to write that down. So first question is, how can I help you today? Right? So by saying, how can I help you today? You identify in the first 10 seconds because they're going to tell you who they are, if they're the neighbor, if they're, from the west side to the east side, maybe they have a job relocation. So boom, you think that's helpful? Knowing who they are right from the get-go? Or no, I'm the neighbor across the street and I have a sick dog, right? You don't want to talk to that person necessarily or spend a lot of time with them. So how can I help you today? Who is your realtor? Why do you think I say, who is your realtor? What do you think that is?
So that you're not saying, do you have? And
Right.
And they say, oh, yes, I
Right,
do.
because if I said, Cameo, do you have a realtor? What are you probably gonna say?
No.
Well, most are gonna say, yes, because you don't wanna talk to me, right? Because I'm a salesperson and you, right, they don't wanna talk to you. So you say, who is your realtor? The greatest thing about this and the funniest thing is, they cannot lie. They just can't. Who's your realtor? They can't come up with that. Oh, I'm working with so-and-so over at ABC Realty. Or they're gonna say, oh, I'm working with Tammy at Keller Williams Westside. Awesome. I love Tammy. She's great. You know, let me know, take a look at the house. Okay, that's not your client, right? Now, we got, how can I help you? Who's your realtor? So what did we find out? Who they are, and if they're working with an agent. You think those are two important things when you're doing an open house?
Yes.
Absolutely. Next thing is, and Oscar's gonna love this. Who's your lender?
I don't have.
You don't have a lender. All right, so you don't have an agent. So you're really just getting started, right, Gabrielle?
Just.
All right, awesome. Well, I happen to have a great lender for you, so we'll get there. Okay, I'm gonna pause again. All right, how can I help you? Who's your realtor? And now, who is your lender? Now, the difference between who's your realtor and who's your lender is a lot of times a buyer that's actively buying will already what? Have, right, have a lender, right? So now you know, okay, they have a lender, right? So I'm working with Oscar over at Rocket Mortgage. He is the best. I'm so happy to hear that. Next question.
How much are you?
What?
How much are you asking for?
Okay, that's a great one. Okay, a lot of agents would do just that, and they'll say, and that's not a wrong answer, because that's what most agents would say, was, what are you pre-qualified for, right? Right, you say, what, do you feel like that's kind of invasive?
Yes.
Like, kind of like, that's none of your damn business, type of thing, right?
But right now, I feel like despite having children and they're in soccer, I just want to look at the property. I don't want you asking me all these questions. I'm just saying,
Yeah,
that's how.
but see, this is the thing, I'm pausing, so I'm gonna do this
Okay.
all over again,
Okay.
because you're not gonna be thinking of that.
Okay.
Okay, then I'm gonna show you how fast it is. You're not thinking about soccer.
Yeah.
Okay, this has been my experience. So, hi there, Tammy Burnell with Keller Williams. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. How can I help you today?
I'm just looking to move the city, we could play soccer.
Oh, nice, nice. Who's your realtor?
I don't have one.
You don't have a realtor. Okay, great. I'd love to help you out. Who, is your lender?
Oh, I don't have a lender either.
Okay, so you're just getting started.
Yeah.
20 seconds.
Okay.
You are in control, not them. Now, if you have somebody that comes in and she's maybe a little offensive and she's like, girl, go ahead. I don't want to work with her.
Okay.
Okay, now I'm gonna make it a little bit more engaging, but for the sake of time and getting through these 10, but this one's the most important because this works. Okay, so now we've identified who she is. She's not working with a realtor. She's been pre-qualified with Oscar, and then I go and I walk her around this house. Then you ask your normal questions. Is this something that, would fit your family? What do you like about it? You can go ahead and sit back down, sweetie. What do you like about the house? And then, if you know that she's already been pre-qualified, pre-approved, and this is where Frank messed up my presentation. That, and you could still do it now until things change, is that particular open house, I book 3 to 4 houses that are in that same neighborhood and show that house to that buyer. Hello, right? So now I kind of earned her trust. She's not working with an agent. I know she's pre-approved. I'm establishing some rapport with her. She's getting to know me. We're meshing. And I say, you know what? I know this house doesn't work for you. However, Cameo, there's 3 or 4 houses that are right around this neighborhood that I think may fit your needs. since you're out and you've got another hour until your boys are done playing soccer, let's go take a look. And I shut that open house down and I go and show her property. Yeah. Right, now, the other thing is, people are gonna say, oh my God, you're, supposed to do an open house with the seller. When I do this, I always have a lender or title rep or a homeowner.
Exactly, that's what I was gonna say. What I do is if I find somebody like that, and I usually do an open house with somebody else, I leave that person right there and I run.
Yeah, that's awesome, because a lot of agents don't do that. So that really raises the bar in your open house. Chris, you had a question?
Yes, would the other open house that you would book be similar as far as the room size and what you're showing, or how would you go about?
I just picked 3 or 4 other houses in
Some
the neighborhood.
nearby.
Yeah, I don't really care what the price, the bedroom or the bath. Now, I'm not gonna show all 3 or 4, because if she wants,
Time, yeah.
a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, and out of the 4 houses that I chose, only 2, then I'm gonna show her those 2. You know what I mean? But just to give her a balance. But as you all know, anybody that's a seasoned agent or been doing this a little while, who got their phone on, shut it off. Yeah, okay, thank you so much. Is that buyers are liars. Just to give you another point. When you have a buyer, it's really important to hone in on what's important to them. Like Cameo, she has 2 kids. So what's going to be important to her as a mom? Probably not on a busy street, right? Probably she's cooking a lot, so maybe a big kitchen. Hone into that, because I can assure you that if she says, oh, I have to have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and I show her a 2-bedroom, 2-bath with an amazing kitchen, you want to step outside with that until you can figure that out? Or?
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. That she's gonna go, you know what? Those boys, they can share a room because I'm getting this big kitchen. It happens all the time, okay? So just make sure you're really honing in on what's important. It could be a swimming pool, it could be, close to the soccer park, anything like that, okay? So good stuff? Everybody got it? Questions on the open house? Okay, all right, lender options, and this is where Oscar's gonna come in, but just, on this, obviously, some things are going to change with this new program thing that we're going to have to do. But what you need to understand, especially as new agents on your government programs, and I'm going to invite Oscar to come up here and explain to you what possible changes we might see. Oscar, what type of conversations that we might run into, if anything, with those. Government programs would be FHA, VA. Do we have CHAPA here? And yeah, so CHAPA, there's a bunch of different programs that I might have him cover with you as well. I also have on there credit unions. And the reason why I put this one up, and it was interesting because Oscar and I are having a fun conversation yesterday. And I said, you might think this is weird. And then after I told him why, he's like, no. There are some clients, buyers that you will have that want to use their credit union. They do everything with their credit union. There are, like, the credit union is God, okay? And credit unions, I know, it's funny, but it's not a good experience. Credit unions do mortgages, but they do very, very little. And so if at all possible, make sure that you're having them double pre-qual and try to get them to steer away. Because even though they might be getting a lower rate or proposed lower rate, they are not familiar with that escrow process at all, okay? All right, and then online lenders. Online lenders have, in the past, kind of got a bad rap in the last, I would say 3 to 5 years. But now we have a rock star, Oscar. So I'm gonna have Oscar come up. Take as much time as you want, 5-10 minutes, whatever you need, Oscar. I'll interject with some questions as well, but just kind of update us on the craziness,
Thank you
if
very much.
anything.
Let's give a round of applause to Tammy for doing this together. She comes highly recommended with a lot of credentials. Isn't it exciting to have a coach here that with Mike Perry? Isn't that exciting?
It's Tom Perry, but all the
Okay,
same, it's
Tom
fine.
Perry.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Don't say damn.
But isn't it exciting? I think it is to have somebody like that in our company. I'm not gonna take too much time on the loan because I think last week, whoever was here, or the week before that, we were able to touch up on some programs. As a matter of fact, I have my son here that has programs that I don't even cover. So we have an array of programs. But let's talk a little bit about the government programs. Everybody gets asked about down payment assistance programs, correct? I'm a first-time buyer. That's the first thing that they ask you, they tell you, I'm a first-time buyer, do I get a deal? My answer to them is, I need to get more information to see if you qualify for that program. Let me ask you some questions, of course, because sometimes they're over the income limit. And sometimes they're not being very realistic. But the reason why I ask them that is I say, how much money do you have to work with? Well, I'm gonna use a program. I know, but you still need to have some money. Why? And I give them the example, if you were selling your car and somebody came and said, you know what, I have the cash right now. And another one came and said, you know what, I'm gonna give you 50%. Then another one said, you know what, I'm gonna get a program to buy your car. Who are you gonna take more serious? The cash or the one that's gonna give you at least 50%, but not the one that's gonna go run and get a program. You're gonna be up an uphill battle if you start with your buyers and presenting an offer with a first-time home buyer program. Right now in the market, they're gonna look at it and say, next. I'll tell you real quick. I'm the eyes for several investors. And when we get 5, 10 offers, they ask me, here's the top 3, the highest. Call them and pre-screen them. Guess what my first question is? How much money do you have? How much money do you have? If the property gets bidded over 10,000, 20,000, and they don't have money, they're not strong. So I'll come back and say, this one is strong. They're willing to pay the difference. Let's go with this one. So the lender actually makes a decision a lot of the times who's going to actually be the buyer because they're the eyes to the realtor. So first-time home buyer programs, government programs are great, but you're going to have an uphill battle when you're making offers. And if they don't have a bank account to show, because when they are qualifying, I ask them for the FICO score. Sometimes they have another lender. I say, hey, lender, send me your DU. Does anybody know what a DU is? Desktop underwriting approval. It's a system that gets approved. Do you have a DU? Yes. Do you have the FICO score? Yes. Do you have proof of assets? Yes. Let me see them. Okay, they're good. I imagine they show me one that's going to get a program. I'm not knocking the program. I'm just saying the market right now is very difficult to get one of those programs approved. If I see somebody that has 5,000 or 10,000 and they're competing with other people that have 20, 50,000, we're really not going to take them serious. They may be beautiful people, a great family, but it's just going to be hard for us to take them seriously. So know that you're going to be dealing with that with the sellers when you're making offers. They're going to ask for those 3 items, and if they're weak, they're going to push it to the side. So government programs are good. There's one that's coming out in April, which is Dream for All. If you have buyers, get them pre-qualified beforehand. They have 90 days to find a house. Very important that they understand the process, and not only that, but that they will repay back a portion of that amount, okay? Now, if they don't get ready and they're not ready right now, don't have them come in at the last minute saying, hey, because they're just gonna waste your time, the lender's time, and then they still have to go into the lottery, which is a chance that they might get it or might not. Okay? So there is programs. Talk to me about those programs on a one-on-one. We even have one that's a 1% down. But guess what? It's income restricted. So maximum purchase price is $350. Where can you buy something for $350? Well, for us, it gets the phone ringing. So we get a lot of calls. We get a lot of calls, which we'll go into the online right now. We get a lot of calls for people saying, I want the 1% down. Well, let me ask you some questions. You only qualify for this amount, but I see that they're making 200,000 or 150. But you could buy regularly with 3% down. Let's help you out. Okay, let's do it. So we move forward that way. Credit union, she mentioned something very important about the credit unions. They're kind of like the banks. At one time, the banks were gold. If you brought in an offer from I'm gonna just use your piece of paper. If you brought in an offer from a broker, now brokers are a little bit more cleaned up, but if you brought an offer from a broker versus the bank, yeah, we don't want to see the broker's offer. It was a bank, solid, direct lender. That's who we want to work with. Then the mortgage bankers started coming in, all your mortgage bankers that are not banks, that are not brokers, they were direct lenders. Are you a direct lender? Yes, we'll work with a direct lender. Then the banks started getting a bad rep. They take too long, they're too strict. They take a long time to get you an approval. Their values come in low. We have to fight for the value. So then a lot of investors and sellers said, you know what? I don't want to see a bank. But they're still good. Credit unions are great because they have lower rates, but as she mentioned, they don't specialize in that. They kind of look like a box. You have to fit into this box or else you won't do it. With direct lenders, what can we do? Can we do this? Can we do that? Can we make it happen? Let's move it around. That's all we do. They don't do that. They do mortgages, banks, savings, investments, small business loans, you name it. So they're gonna do it, but not as good as a direct lender will do it. Now, I don't have nothing against banks. I just came from a bank. I was a US bank. And before that, I was with Washington Mutual. So I work with banks. I love them, but not that much. They're good for, yeah. Yeah, it was a long, long time ago, yes, yeah.
Date yourself there.
And PNC, and actually, before I came here, I got an offer with BMO. You guys heard of BMO, correct? Now it's all over the place. It was Bank of the West. Incredible jumbo rates, incredible high balance rates. I just chose not to go with them. And then BMO bought them. So now we have online lenders. Nowadays, a lot of people go online, correct? There was some statistics that you look up properties that you're gonna buy online, correct? Even shoes, even clothes, you look it up online to see what the reviews are and kind of see it, 3Vision, 360, all that good stuff. The same thing with online lenders. Now people are going online and they get pulled in. We're a very good company in doing that. As a matter of fact, I get calls when I got up for a call where our people are calling them and just saying, here, I got somebody on the line for you. And they just pass them on and the buyers are like, wait, who am I talking to? And I have to be real quick and fast and smooth and trying to transition and say, hey, we're okay. Wanted to buy a house. We're here to help you. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But online, you can get an approval online nowadays with a soft pull. You know what a soft pull is, correct? But you don't get the tender loving care that you would from a representative live, talking to your agents, following up, negotiating repairs. What do we do? How can we do it? How can we make it happen? Online is kind of like, this is the way it is. If everything passes, you get approved, okay, but you're not gonna get tender loving care. And a lot of the times, it's not the best rate. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. But online lenders are good for what they do. I can't knock all the online lenders because we're one of the largest, if not the largest. We came up with online applications on your phone. So we get most of our business online, even though now we're local. I'm one of the local persons, 16 of us just in California, so there's not many. So we are trying to be localized because we compete with the brokers now, with the direct lenders. There's a lot of brokers that use us that are not happy that they have local representation, but we're striving through that. So those are the type of lenders that you have. Any other lenders that you guys could think of? Hard money lenders, we're not gonna talk about that, but hard money lenders, of
Yeah, I
course.
was trying to keep it just super
Simple.
simple in things that they maybe didn't completely understand. So I think you did a great job of covering those. And again, Oscar will keep you in the loop on any particular changes, but right now, things are the same.
Yeah, she wanted me to touch up on something which is important, VA and FHA loans, okay? So with the new buyer's representation, of course, a VA loan requires a seller to pay some of the fees. And it doesn't allow for a buyer to pay for a commission. So as it stands right now, under that new law, that's gonna come into effect, you cannot buy a VA loan. You can't. But knowing the industry and knowing all the lenders that are lobbying, and not only that, but there's different organizations that are lobbying, especially the Veterans Administration. There's gonna have to be some changes, either to the VA guidelines, where they're gonna allow that to happen, or they're gonna be excluded, or somewhere or the other. Maybe even the lender may have to give the credit. And a lot of us in the lending industry are thinking that a lot of the solution is gonna come from the lenders because there's what they call rebate in the back. You give a little higher rate, you get some money back, and we'll pay for those closing costs. Or we probably will even pay for the commission. Now, I'm not saying that's exactly gonna happen, but we are talking about that. A lot of lenders are talking about that because there has to be a solution. Because we still gotta do business, and VAs can't be discriminated. They're government, they helped us. So stay tuned for that. We will let you know. I'll be the first one to let you know. But thank you for having me up here. Anything else that you want me to cover?
So I think that's
Any
great.
questions? We're
Well,
good?
you know, Oscar, what confuses me on a short sale, and I'm trying to think. When I was at escrow, trying to think if the lender paid or advised the listing agent how much they could get their commissions for.
On a loan modification?
No, on
Short sale.
a
On a
short
short sale.
sale.
Yeah,
And so I'm trying to see if the lender paid for the commission during that time. Like they paid a lot of the fee.
yes.
So I'm just wondering, you know, why the lender, because they're actually an entity too in the whole transaction, representing, giving the buyer their loan. Why can't the lender say, okay, we're gonna go ahead and pay the commission? You know, and the buyer or the escrow company would have to submit the commission breakdown to the lender, and the lender would give it to the buyer, but they would just, like you have a loan closing.
Yeah.
Just cut the check.
I didn't think it was the lender that was on short sale.
Well, it was-
Paying the commission, it was the bank owned, it was the bank.
It was a bank. Well, the bank doesn't own it yet. What the bank does is they state, okay, we're gonna, you got this loan for 500,000. We're gonna do a short sale.
Right, but they included the commission in the.
Yes, see, that's what I'm,
Short sale payoff,
yeah.
but it
But did
wasn't landed funded.
But did the seller pay it out of their proceeds still?
There were no proceeds on the short sale.
Yeah, the bank is taking a loss.
The bank's taking the cut.
No, I understand. I used to do a lot of them.
But I understand what you're getting at. So, but like I said,
Cause I had to
there's
pay.
gonna be so many changes right now, so, and I don't wanna really be Debbie Downer on these.
So we could talk about that after.
It's not gonna come, the whole point of this is really to get you into action now, understand enough that you can have a conversation with that buyer on what's available, and then refer it over to Oscar.
So I'll leave you with the last thought. Push your customers to get pre-qualified. I mean, take control of them. If they tell you I have a lender, or I have this, or I have that, fine, no problem. But I want to be able to see with my own eyes, so you take control of those buyers and actually have them get pre-qualified with somebody they can trust. Hopefully it's me. But if they just tell you, they got to show you. And if it's just a typed up pre-approval, it's not good. It has to be an underwritten approval. Keep that in mind. We go them in 24 hours, okay? Thank you very much.
Okay, go ahead.
The credits for, their development.
We do a two-step, we do a soft pull all the time upfront, so today, if you want to qualify, if I run it, soft pull, nothing affects your credit. If you are interested, you send me your paperwork and then we run the hard copy.
So it's a soft food, doesn't affect it.
Doesn't affect.
No, thank you. Moving on, sometime. Okay,
Thank you, Tammy.
thank you. All right, another one of my favorite things to do, especially when you are a new agent. Has anybody ever hosted a neighborhood garage sale? Does anybody even know what that is per se? Right, okay. So we started doing this a long time ago, and right now it is a fabulous time to do it. So if you have, how many of you actively are working a farm? Anybody who's active? Nobody here?
What do you mean active? We send mail.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you have a farm area that you like to work, like to promote yourself, may door knock in. Yeah, I was gonna say, girl, I know you do. So this is a great way to, because really what happens when we door knock or when we're trying to call or try, it's all about, I don't know what to say, or I don't have a reason to go to the door, right? So with the neighborhood garage sale, you can pass out flyers and say, you know what, next April, 15th, I'm hosting a neighborhood garage sale for anybody that wants to participate. I'm gonna do all the promotion through social media and neighborhood and sign, and maybe do a little booth for yourself with coffee and donuts. Would you be interested? Right? That's an easy thing to go to the door with. You'd be surprised in a neighborhood of maybe you say you knock 100 homes, 5 or 6 are going to be interested and say, heck yeah, I'm up for that. You know what, I've been meaning to plan a garage sale anyways. I mean, how many people are looking to get rid of stuff, right? Now, the other great thing about this is when people are doing garage sales and looking to get rid of stuff, what might be a next step for them to do? Downsize, upsize, sell, correct? So this can work both ways. You can still post if you want to do that, which is a great way. It's gonna cost you what? You know, maybe $50 in coffee and donuts and then free promotion on, you know, Facebook or Instagram and a couple signs. Here's the beauty of that. You spend 4 or 5 hours, you know, from 8:30 to 2:30 doing this open house. You've got 5 neighbors that you're in constant communication. You're getting your stuff ready. Do you need boxes, right? That's 5 people that you didn't have before, right? And then you were there the entire time with people coming in and out of that garage sale that you can be at your little coffee and donut station. Maybe have balloons for the kids. I mean, there's a ton of different things that you can do to introduce yourself. I've had coaching clients that have done these neighborhood garage sales and they get 50 to 100 leads from it, depending on how big the area and how much you promote it. Would that be helpful to get now business if you had an extra 100 leads in your pipeline? Right? So something to consider. Now, let's just say, oh, Tammy, that's just too much work. I don't want any now business. I'm kind of lazy, but I would go to a neighborhood garage sale, right? So if you see neighborhood garage sales being advertised, again, those people having the garage sale, you go and you introduce yourself and say, oh, are you guys looking to make a move? You seem like you're moving a lot of stuff. A lot of people have garage sales and get prepared before they have a realtor. I don't know why more agents don't do this. You could hit 5 to 10 garage sales a weekend, right? So if we're looking at 5 to 10 a weekend, you do that every weekend. You do nothing else. Garage sale, garage sale, garage sale, maybe even pick up something. Introduce yourself to 5 to 10 homeowners, right? A weekend. That's 40 homeowners that you've met that are getting rid of stuff. Out of those 40 homeowners, how many homeowners do you think are looking to make a move?
10.
Yeah, at least 10, right? And out of those 10, you think one of them probably doesn't have a realtor or is interviewing realtors? Okay, again, just that alone is going to get you 2 or 3 listings by just doing that. It doesn't cost you any money.
So
So
you get those. The list of who might-
the list of neighborhood garage sales, they're online. I mean, Facebook has, you know, in my area, open houses, the next door app. There's a lot of different ones. So I would just Google neighborhood garage sales in my area or near me. And there you go. But it's a great way to get out, meet your neighbors in your farm, have some promotional. But if I was you, if I had to pick one or the other, definitely do that neighborhood garage sale. Because it doesn't cost you a lot of money. It gets you in there as a neighborhood expert and go from there. All right. Next one, everybody hates this one, but connecting with past clients and center of influence. Great hearts on you all the time, right? Why do you think calling your past clients and calling your center of influence, we already know, every single one of us know it's the fastest way to get a deal. What is the holdback? Why don't agents do it?
It's hard to start a conversation.
Right, it's hard to start a conversation. It's like, you know, and then if you're a seasoned agent, right? And you have, I don't know, you're 10, 15 years in the business and you have hundreds and you haven't called them, that's horrible, right? So what do you say? And then if you're a newer agent, again, you're like, what do I say? So I'm gonna make this so much easier for you. 2 things. You have Anybody not on social media here? Okay, perfect. So what you want to do is when you guys are all on social media every day, you have people that have had babies, you have people that are getting married, you have people that their dad is sick, there's all kinds of different life events, correct? And what do most of us do when we see something like that? Comment, yeah, I mean, that's natural, right? You would comment. Okay, I don't want you to comment, I want you to pick up the phone. That's your easy call. You can do 3 to 5 of those a day. Say, oh my gosh, Cameo, I just saw that your son won that soccer tournament. That's so awesome. You must be so proud. And then you have a conversation about them. Guess what? They know you're in real estate, or they should, right? They don't, then okay, that's a problem. But they're going to ask you what is going on with this. And I don't even think they'll really call it the NAR settlement because they don't even know what NAR is, to be honest with you. And that's another thing you need to understand. We know so much more than they do. All they hear is you guys aren't getting paid anymore, right? So that's why Frank and I are so pressed on you guys being able to have that conversation with them, all right? So when you're talking to your potential people on Facebook, you want to just make sure that you're prepared for that conversation. The real estate conversation is always naturally going to come up. Another question that agents don't know how to answer, which always surprises me. How's the market? What do you say?
Great.
It's fabulous, right? It's great. Right, so it's okay. And everybody don't know how to turn their phone off. So we'll just dance here, rock out. So everybody says, oh, it's great. So what you want to say, well, it depends if you're a buyer or a seller. Isn't that true? If you're a seller, it's pretty awesome because there's a limited amount of inventory. Prices, are still at an all-time high. Now, if it's a buyer, you don't say, well, if you're a buyer, you're screwed. Okay, you don't want, you don't want to say that. So you ask them, are you a buyer or are you a seller? And they're like, well, you know what, we're thinking about, buying a second home. We're thinking about buying an investment home. And then you just roll with that. So if they're saying, oh, okay, well, you're looking for an investment home, tell me a little bit about what that looks like and get the conversation going that way. But if you don't ask, then you're never going to be able to have that conversation. Now, a lot of my coaching clients, I have them on, okay, you need to be making X amount of calls a day, but we don't do it. Why? Because we don't know what to say. All right. So the best thing to do, and it just depends on what the season is right now. So right now, a lot of people are on spring break. So I just be picking up the phone and saying, hey, Chris, it's Tammy from Keller Williams, just touching base with you. Wanted to see if you had any plans for spring break. What are you doing for spring break? Now, this may be, you're a past client of mine. And I just really I'm just touching base. I know you're always doing something fun with your kids. I need ideas. Okay, make it about them. All right, they're gonna ask you, what's going on with this commission thing? What's going on with the market? You'll be prepared. Okay, if you're not answering that question, then somebody else is, and you don't want that. So there's always different reasons. If it's summertime, roll into, what are your summer plans? And then you want to write this down. The question you want to ask in that conversation, is, who do you know that may be interested in buying or selling? Now, notice you're not, saying, oh, are you interested in selling? Because that's invasive, right? We never want to make it about them because if they are interested in buying and selling a property, they're going to talk to you about it at that time. So who do you know? Again, that makes them think. They're like, oh, you know what? Actually, I was just talking to my girlfriend. I think she might be getting a divorce. Okay, again, if you're not making the calls, try this for 30 days. If you're making, let's just say 5, okay, and you're doing that 5 days a week, that's right, that's 100 calls of who do you know? Okay? I don't know why agents don't do it. It's not like we're, asking you to go pick up garbage on the freeway or something. I mean, you kind of have to put it in perspective. You have, go ahead.
My problem is when I talk to people,
Yes,
the conversation gets so long and drawn out. That's my problem. Instead of just going to the point, okay, how are you, how are the kids, whatever, it just goes on and on and on and on. You know what I'm saying? So I have to keep it short and I'm not sure how to do it.
I think that if you have a relationship with somebody, that those long conversations need to be had. And I'll tell you why, because that means that you care. And you're right, I've been there. But, I mean, there's a certain point where you can cut it off if it just goes like so sour. But your whole point, and this is, where, you gotta take it off of you, and I get it, I totally understand. But you wanna make it about them, because why do people use us? Are they gonna hire me because of my skills and my longevity? Or are they hiring me because they like me and trust me?
Because they like you and trust.
Okay, did everybody hear that?
Yep.
All you new agents hear that? People will use you because they like you and they trust you. They could care less what your skills are, which is sad, and what they should, but that's exactly right. People are going to because they like you and they trust you. So back to that conversation, you need to have that longer conversation because they're gonna go, you know what, you never know what people are going through. And that could have been the best part of their day. And guess what? Who they're gonna tell? You know what? My realtor reached out to me today. She saw something about my mom on social media. And it was really nice because as nice as it is to get those comments, I really enjoyed that conversation. Do you think she's gonna tell people about that? Right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
My other issue-
That's worth it a gold, right?
My other issue is, I have this, I guess it comes with natural to me to try to help. Because you have this issue and I'm gonna jump in and try to help.
Yes.
And in the meantime, I get drawn into people's lives and I wasting so much time with this person. It is not gonna get me anywhere.
Well, it just depends on, you have to have boundaries. So
That's
maybe
why I
you
don't-
need to set
Right.
those boundaries, and we still haven't made a call yet, so I can teach you that. Because I have a coaching client right now that exactly had that problem. She specializes in senior living. She transitions people from their big home, empty nesters, parents, and moves them. And she goes in, she makes their bed for them. She does all the moving. I'm like, girl,
That
crazy.
is me.
Okay, you guys need
I'm
to
even
talk.
taking care of some cats that they left me in one of the.
Yeah,
properties.
okay, yes,
Oh my God.
you need to talk to me, so make sure we get on that. Okay, so that's how you do that. Connecting with the top agent to promote their listing. Okay, so there's top agents all over, right? And especially in our office. So you want to see, okay, I'm a new agent, or maybe I'm a struggling seasoned agent, I don't have any. Ask a top agent in the office, is it okay if I promote your listing? You want to go and look at the listing, see if it's something that you can get excited about, right? But ask them if you can sit an open house and if you can promote it on social media. This is another great way to say, okay, Chris has got a brand new listing. She's a top agent in our office. She just listed a $1.5 million over in the Woodland Hills area that's absolutely gorgeous, right? Now what do? I go back to my past client center of influence. I got something to call about, right? Hey, Monica, Tammy from KW Westside, just wanted to touch base with you and say, hi, how are the kids? How's that new baby? I just wanted you to know that we have a brand new listing at $1.5 million, blah, blah, blah. Who do you know? Is that a hard call to make? Monica's a past client of mine. I need to make a call to her to see how her new baby's doing anyways. And I'm not trying to sell her on something, but I want to sell this house, okay? That's an easy call to make, yes? Yes, yes, okay, so that's how you do that. All right,
Can I ask this?
yes,
I'm kind of new.
that's okay, I love new people.
There is a commercial property close to my house.
Uh-huh,
On La Brea and Washington.
uh-huh,
I spoke with Shepherds, and she told me to call them. And the lady said she wants 2 million for it.
okay,
And I noticed that a lot of graffiti has been written up on it now.
there's what?
Graffiti.
Oh, graffiti, okay,
Yeah, and it seems like a really good property, and she's asking 2 for it.
Yeah.
So then I called yesterday, and a lot of people have been trying to call,
yes,
and my phone is overloaded. So,
that's typical. A listing agent that doesn't answer their phone, wow, that's new.
yeah, and she has the big sign up there, either for lease or buy. And, I can't get in touch with her.
Yeah, so what's your question?
The question is, a situation like that, what do you do, just leave it?
Call the
alone?
broker.
Yeah.
Call the broker and find out. Again, I always assume the worst. You never know what's going on with that listing
She
agent.
told me that she didn't have any trying to sell it for. I did speak to her.
Okay, well, then if it's okay with her to promote it, then go ahead. Yeah, there's no problem with that, as long as you get the permission from the other broker. So absolutely.
Oh,
Okay, know your new build inventory. I cannot even tell you how important this is and the easiest money ever. Easiest money ever. When I was selling property in Colorado Springs, I moved there after the Northridge earthquake. I had $5,000 to my name. Me and my little family, we didn't have jobs. We spent $2,500 on a first and last for a rental and didn't even have a real estate license. Got my real estate license, did my research on the market, and at that time, Colorado Springs was exploding with new build. Okay, and was also very big into military relocation. Within 18 months, I was the #1 new home sales rep for selling new homes. Anybody here want to know how I did it?
Yep.
Okay, so there's new homes all over Southern California. They're offering a buyer off right now, okay? We already know that. Is that going to change? No, and then the reason why I know is because I'm from Santa Clarita and they are dying, excuse me, right now to sell those places. They're just sitting there. And the reason why they're sitting there is because they're just not that attractive in my opinion. But that's a whole nother thing. Yeah, well, and they're hot. So what I did, excuse me, is I would go to every new home sales rep and make really good friends with them. All right, I would study the floor plans and I would ask them, is it okay if I promote these model homes? What are they gonna say? No, yeah, of course. Of course they were. So they gave me a reason to call. Again, another reason to call. Hey, did you know that Richmond American Homes is offering a $25,000 bonus? They are. Okay, they're offering, all kinds of different things. They're offering free front yards, free backyards, free, they call it a landscaping package. Okay, again, another reason to call your database. Who do you know? They're giving away these places. And it's a 2.5% commission or I will tell you, with builders,
But it was less.
yeah, the more desperate they are, the higher our buyer commission goes up. All right, so you want to make sure that you're paying attention to that new built inventory. Now, does anybody know what a spec home is? In new home, okay, so new built, they have their model homes, right? Everybody knows that, right? They have 3 or 4 model homes. You go in and they're very pretty. And then they are building all around, correct? Now, what you don't know, or a lot of agents like here don't know, is they have spec homes. And a spec home is one of 2 things. It's a home that they have started to build because they're not going to sell the model home, right? And they have buyers going through there like crazy, correct? And they don't want to wait 6 months for that house to be built. So they'll have 4 or 5 spec homes that are in the process of being built. You not only want to know the model inventory, but you want to know the prices and the lots of those spec homes. Because if you're promoting a new build, and they're like, oh, I don't want to wait 6 months for a brand new house. No, they have a spec home on the market right now that's going to be available in 2 months. You could sell that property, or who do you know? The best thing about doing new build traffic is if you do enough that you're promoting and selling these, it's almost like you forgot about your commission check. Because they're 3 or 4 months out, 6 months out, and you hardly have to do anything. You literally show up, the new buyer agent representative, they write the contract for you. You sign your buyer agency agreement, and then you maybe do one mid, depending on where they're at in the building process. And then you do a final walkthrough and you're done, and you get paid the exact same amount. So who's up for getting paid more and doing less besides me? Right? All right. So definitely know your new build, get to know your sales reps. If you're not like overly busy, I would just put that on your monthly schedule. Go to new build, find out what incentives that they're offering, what their spec home inventory is. Okay, this is easy money and it's available to you, and it's really easy to sell a new home opposed to dealing with a resale that you're going to have possible inspection step on. Okay. Okay, we got 5 minutes. Social media. So we already touched a little bit on how to promote other things on social media. I want to describe to you the different parts of social media where you can find your buyers real quickly. Facebook. Facebook is going to be mostly where your sphere of influence is, families, that sort of thing. Your younger generation, promotion on Instagram. Okay, now something that a lot of people don't use, it's very underused, is LinkedIn. Who do you think LinkedIn is good for?
Professionals.
Professionals, right? So it's good to referrals, right? You should be promoting yourself on LinkedIn for direct referrals, relocation. Are there still a lot of people moving out of California?
Yes.
Yes. Do you have a realtor when somebody calls you, you're calling your center of influence, right? And you're like, hey, Oscar, I just saw on Facebook that you guys were recently in Texas. It looks like you guys had a good time. And Oscar says, yeah, I'm so glad that you called because we're actually thinking about moving to Texas. Guess what? I'm so glad that I called because if you're looking in the Houston area, I have the most amazing realtor for you to work with. Call that realtor, get a 35% referral fee. There you go. Okay, you want to have those realtor to realtor connections. Another thing it's good for, LinkedIn, is for investors. Investors are not looking for property typically on Facebook, but there are quite a few groups in investor groups on LinkedIn that if you are working with investors, start communicating with them. That's a great place other than like, you go to LoopNet or something like that. And then one of my favorite, and this is women dominated, so sorry men, but who cares on Pinterest? Pinterest is like one of the most underused things for real estate agents. You would think of it, but you can start promoting and start a real estate page on Pinterest. And start, people that are clicking on it, they're like, oh my gosh, I love your Easter board. Okay, and the guys are like, Right. But they're like, oh my gosh, that birthday party thing you put together, that board is so amazing. Can I use it? Oh, I see your realtor. And it's free. So make sure that you're using Pinterest. Guys, you can use Pinterest too, but I think it's more. It's such a girly thing. I love it.
I didn't think about Pinterest.
You know what? You never would. And one of my girlfriends, she runs like a top podcast and she's like, I totally missed the boat on Pinterest. But if you look at it, and the other thing is if you're already on Pinterest and you have a board, you can switch all those people right over to a business page. Yeah, so Google that.
Yeah, so let's say that I want to promote this coming soon listing.
Mhm.
Since it's not signed yet and I don't have a contract yet, I would just put a couple of pictures and say coming soon without an address or anything and that's.
Yeah,
okay?
you don't even put address because you don't have the list.
Yeah, you don't have a list. So, but I could, right?
Yeah.
Have a property coming soon.
Just make sure you have your DRE number on everything.
Oh my
That's really cool.
God. Did I tell them?
No,
It don't happen.
yeah, well, let's get through this and we'll do it at the end because I want to make sure I'm respectful of everybody's time. But yeah, just make sure you have your DRE number on everything. So those are a couple things that you can do just to get the conversation going. Okay, you don't necessarily have to comment and pick up the phone like I was telling you to. If you could have any home you desired, where would it be? You know, just getting the conversation going. People are going to go, oh, I would love to, you know, move to Texas. I want to move to the Bahamas. I'm totally addicted to that show right now. It's on Hulu, The Bahama Life, Americans moving to the Bahamas, and you can get something for under 500 grand. So and that's doing your downtime. In regards to the purchase of your last home, what was the best and worst part? Right? Are you a first-time home buyer? Share your biggest concerns or questions about the home buying process. Again, just getting the conversation going. What's your go-to staging tip for selling a property quickly? Share your secret. Getting all those women that have decorating ideas and taste. Make it fun, get the conversation going. What's the most important factor for you to choosing a neighborhood? Safety, proximity. So these are just engaging questions. And when you get into my coaching schedule, we can go over these and set them up automatically. Okay. Okay, not gonna like this one. Except for Joe. I do not understand why more agents don't go after for sale by owners. People, they are literally raising their hand and saying, I need to sell my house, right? And guess what? They hire a realtor. Most for sale by owners, did you know? Hire a realtor within what?
3 months?
2 months.
30 days.
Oh, wow. And I
And
understand
you know what?
70% of them do hire.
They do. And a lot of times because they are tired of hearing from realtors. My favorite thing is when they are advertising, and we're running a little bit over, but I gotta tell the story because it's so funny. When they say, no realtors. How many realtors do you think are calling them?
Lots.
0. No, because they said no realtors. If they say no realtors, most of the realtors are gonna go, oh, he's not working with realtors.
They should.
So what do you do in that
Exactly.
case?
Yeah, no, so I call them and I'm like, I hear you're selling your home and I hear that you don't like realtors. I'm telling you, I'm a realtor. I can't stand half of them either. The exact words that I use and it breaks the ice. Okay? But if you're not willing to call, which you should, that's what I would say. They sit open houses. That's the only way that they can really sell their home, get people through, right? Without being bugged every day. So go and visit those open houses. Don't be afraid that you're a realtor. Let them know. Yeah, you know what? I'm a realtor. I saw your sign. And just ask them. How long are you going to go for sale by owner until you hire a real estate agent? They're gonna tell you. And if they say, I'm not, I hate realtors, I'm like, oh my God, I so understand. So do I. I have to work with them all day. It works. So that's how you get in the door. 3 of them. Because it's much harder to do it on the phone than it is in person. All right. And then I think, take a video of your hometown. I don't have time to go over this because we're running over, but one of the best things you can do is get on YouTube, start your own channel, and be your hometown expert. People that are interested in relocating to Los Angeles, they're gonna wanna know about restaurants. They're gonna wanna know about activities to do. They're gonna wanna know about attractions, and guess what else they're gonna wanna know about? New home sales. What's the market? Okay, super easy to do, easy promotion. So restaurants, local parks, Astoria, shopping, blah, blah, blah. And then the last one that I'm gonna cover, contact non-owner occupied. I was hoping that Jerry could come here. So non-owner occupied, absentee owner, it's the same thing. Non-owner occupied is somebody that rents out the house. All right, so a lot of these times they're out of state. So real quick, what I want you to do is get on title, pick an area, a square mile, find out who's a non-owner occupied. You can tell by the address, the property address versus the mailing address. Write them a nice little cover letter, send them a CMA. They probably have no idea how much their property is worth. And what's another great idea? Go buy the house, take a picture of it and send it to them. Do you think you're gonna get a phone call? Cost you 27 cents at Walgreens? But take a picture of it and say, hey, you know what? I noticed that you are renting your house. I'm in the neighborhood, but I just send you a little picture and let you know how much your house is worth, blah, 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 you know. That's gonna get their attention, okay? All right, and then that is it. So questions, concerns? I was supposed to delete that slide, but that's another series that is coming up. We'll get to that. So questions, concerns, I hope that helped you. I know we're running a little bit over. Yes.
So we used to get the list from title. We used to get that.
No, I don't think title does it, but it's even easier. You just go to Zillow and go to for sale by owner. They're right there.
Do it, no.
No, they're for sale by owner. For sale by owner is easier than ever. And the one thing that I didn't cover in here either is expires. Okay, it go 90, 120 days back on your expires. I was telling Joe this, nobody's calling them. And guess what's even more better? That's great English, Tammy. That's what's even more better. Expires. Because they've raised their hand and said, I want to sell, and what? I'll pay a commission. Hello?
So
Call
it
your-
goes back 90 to 120 days because everyone's kind of given up on them.
Yeah.
They're not getting the calls.
Yeah.
You have no competition. You
Yeah.
know, a lot of times with an expired listing, they just want a freaking break. They're tired. They've been on the market 6 months. Their agent sucked. Right? And they're just like, you know what? I'm gonna get through the holidays. I don't even want to deal with the market. Or, you know what? And again, a lot of this has to do with the kids' schedule. It expired over the holiday. I just want to get through spring break and be done with it. Yes.
I know of expired that should be hitting the market soon. How do I approach them? I already texted the lady, I talked to
Is she
her.
currently listed though?
No, not at all. It's coming up. They have some issues with the property,
Okay.
like substandard kind of stuff.
Yeah. What do you mean it's coming up?
Well, I know they're fixing it up right now so
Oh.
that they can
It
sell
was
it.
expired, now they're fixing it up, so.
Yeah, because there was some issues with the property.
Okay.
How do what's the best way to approach them? I tried a man. Because he was the first one that I had the phone number to.
Mhm.
I tried him and he is basically a womanizer. He is. And
How do you know?
Yeah.
No, you probably.
he's just a pig. But Okay, so,
You used to cheer for that girl.
no, that's my problem. I hate him.
Teasing you.
No. I can't stand him, but no, so and then I found out that he is not the legal owner, it's his wife, that she's the boss, not him.
Okay, so my question to you, because we kind of talked about boundaries and I'm not picking on you, but is that your ideal client? Do they fit your standards? Because that's another thing. This is why I'm giving you so many options. If you did everything that I said and put it into a schedule, your pipeline would be full. And somebody like that, that is arrogant and doesn't respect you as a woman, bye,
Next.
Yeah, but
next.
I don't want him, I want her, so I already
Okay, but it
connected.
kind of sounds like, if he's a womanizer and you're dealing with her, then you're gonna be dealing with him, in my opinion.
Okay,
Just, I'm
but
a
it sounds
relationship
like
expert
she's
too.
the one, she's the boss, she is the boss.
Okay,
And so she is the one that I need to really concentrate on, and I don't know.
but I'm telling you, you're not. If he's controlling her, then if you can't get through to him, then you're gonna be knocking yourself against the wall.
Is it worth it?
Yeah,
It
that's what I'm
is.
telling you.
It's almost $2 million.
Yeah, we're meeting in common.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna take like a 5-10 minute break and then we'll go. So, okay. I'm not trying to, you not to get the listing, but here's the deal. It's gotta be to a point where, is it worth it? And if I'm working with somebody that makes me feel bad, personally, I think a womanizer is a challenge, so I would take it. But
Right.
I'm like, I would work that.
Play game.
Right.
So, all right, any other questions, concerns, you're excused. Thank you so much. Yeah, oh, yeah, if you want to stick around to not get in trouble with the DRE, listen to